Hey, what's up everybody out there in the YouTube universe? Deer Hunter DVM coming to you here, 4th of July. Happy Independence Day, America. Here we are again. It's about 10:30 in the morning here and kind of starting to warm up for the day. Got the day off from the office, figured I'd show you a couple things I'm working on. Two things I'm doing today is just checking a couple of summertime bedding areas. And I'm also, if you see out, you can't hardly see it because it's backlit, out over my shoulder out here is going to be a standing cornfield come October 1st. So I'm looking in these fence rows. I cut a video last week about thermal cover in the summer and how bucks like these shaded areas in the summertime to help keep them cool. But also what I'm doing here today is I'm going to actually look at the lay of this standing cornfield. It's about knee-high, like they always say, knee-high by the 4th of July. It's about like that. But this corn will be much taller come October 1st and should still be here. So what I'm doing, this field has a bunch of terraces, and these rows do not lay north and south and east and west like a nice square field. These terraces and the contour of the ground make this field the rows in the field are quite crooked and kind of tangly here and there. So my plan here is to kill Doby Mick. All right, it has been planned for the last 3 or 4 years, has not worked out. So I've got him isolated for sure to a fairly large chunk of timber that's kind of hard to access. So what I'm going to do is get out in the middle of this cornfield, see where the rows are navigable. Yeah, see where I can get through those rows when they're standing a little bit easier, mark those pins on my Onyx maps, and come back when the corn is standing. I'm just going to try and find a few tree stand locations that I can get into that's minimally invasive, that I can get close to where I think he beds come October 1st. He likes to run this edge out here, and I've seen him do it multiple times, got multiple photos to it, but the downside is during the season when there's no crop in, he beds along those edges, and he has the strategic contour advantage over these fields of access. So what I'm banking on is I'm going to use a standing corn as my screen to get in and out, and hopefully I can crowd this edge where I've seen him travel during daylight hours. For a buck as old as he is, he's fairly daylight active, so I feel like if I can get maybe a cold front there around the first couple of weeks of October, I can get me a nice like maybe a northwest or a southwest, and I can get in that corner, use these corn rows that I'm going to scope out today for access, kind of use the terrace and roll of the field to help me get in and out quiet. Should help pretty well. So that's what we're doing today. Let me show you this bed I found. Okay, so what I'm standing in is another one of these fence rows that we talked about last week. The fence row here itself is about, I don't know, maybe 40 yards wide, has a bunch of big walnuts, cottonwoods, large oaks in it, but the ground cover here is pretty sparse. So if you take a look here over my shoulder, this right here, big time. That's a classic summertime buck bed. It sits up on this hill, catches the breeze as it rolls through this shade. This place stays in shade literally almost all day until it gets down to about, I don't know, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock. And the shade will start beating out, but then the shade across the field will edge into this, so it's actually a pretty cool little spot for a buck. And you can see that is a worn out bed. Somebody's been here quite a bit. So and it's singular, there's only one, there's not multiple around, and I'm not going to bother with it too much. Kind of an old fence row right here, pretty standard operating procedure for an old mature buck in the farm country that we live in. But I love these fence rows. This thing goes, oh man, 400 yards in either direction, so it gives these guys plenty of edge cover, shade cover, and it allows that breeze to flow through this hilltop here and keeps them cool in the summertime. So it feels like AC in here, it feels like air conditioning in these tops. So that's what we're doing, checking out some of these summer buck beds, putting a few cameras out around them, and scouting out this cornfield for access. So let's get after it. Happy Independence Day, America. Catch you on the flip side.